what's the key to success in half-court offense?
Ooh. Well, I mean, that's probably a pretty long answer, right? But I mean, first you got to start with the most basic thing, which is taking care of the ball and getting a shot, right? Any turnover or whatever is going to be a 0.0 points per that possession. Seem really loud in here to you guys today?
That's why the mic was moved closer.
Okay. So that's the first thing, and then I think your playing percentages from there, Michael. You know, from getting to the free throw line, getting to the rim, and then obviously you got to explore the extra point that the three-point shot gives you to boost your true shooting percentage. That's the starting point, right? Like what kind of shots are you generating? Yeah.
What's a good points per possession?
What's good?
Points per possession.
3.
What
3.
But what do you aim for, like, realistically?
Well, I mean, you guys know the numbers of the best teams and the average and all that stuff, right? So we're trying to be in the top, trying to reach our potential there. It's been up this year, right? It's gone up a couple of clicks, which is a big deal. Like it's like funny too, when you look at the rankings, sometimes you'll look at where you're at and you'll like look at the left side and see, oh, you're 17th, and you don't kind of explore that across the page a little bit, and like one more, going from 114 to 115 might make you 9th. You know what I mean? Like, and that's it's funny. I mean, you got over 48 minutes, over 100 possessions, over 82 games. A lot of that stuff, making sure you're getting a decent
Like the worst
look at that.
offense is now like 109 or 110 or something, and I'm old enough to remember. Like that was
World
top
beater.
7.
That was world beater, yeah.
Given the way you guys have done really well generating possessions, if you guys can kind of land in that middle ground just in the half court, is that are you kind of looking at that and going, yeah, okay, this could work for us?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I just think that I mean there is certainly some benchmarks that we're looking for, or goals, or whatever you want to say. But I think that I always can kind of feel that the shots are right, the rhythm's right, or whatever. And it was one of the things we started exploring kind of when I first got here 9-10 years ago, was you can't get too wrapped up if you're generating the exact right shots and for whatever reason they're not going in. You can't get too emotional about that. It's just kind of part of it. Are you generating the correct shots enough times is really what you, again, over 48 minutes, over 82 games, all that kind of stuff is what you got to kind of keep focused on. Instead of PPP, points per possession, we started studying XPPP, expected points per possession, and they keep building that model out. There's 14 or 15, 16 factors that goes into the XPPP now.
Is that proprietary then, or is that XPP? Is that something you guys have built internally?
Yeah.
I think for Republic.
They may have somebody's probably swiped it and put it out there in the public domain.
And is it good for the XPP? Is it trended?
I mean, it's. I think.
How has it trended since Jakob's been out?
Yeah, it's been. As you guys know, the numbers have been really high since Jakob's got here. Yeah.
I think like at the end of last year, you said the shot spectrum had gotten a bit wonky, I think was the phrase you used. Do you think has it progressed in the right direction this year? And if so,
not quite yet. I mean, I think it's still we're still in some exploratory phases here a little bit with it, but we're working very hard at trying to get it up the level of priorities. And I think you guys probably understand it's not like a huge secret that there's a few places we got to clean up in that, right? Our possessions are great. Our rim attacks are pretty good. Our free throw numbers are are exceeding what we expected, but we still have too many what we call non-rim paint twos, although that's really shaping up lately, and too many non-paint twos. But you also understand that, we've got a few guys to the mix here that are, they kind of find themselves in those areas a little more than we probably would like, but it's a little bit of a work in progress, right? To keep them playing the rest of the game, right?
Is that a function too of like you know, in your own lineup, you don't have a lot of guys that just scare people from three. Like you have capable three-point shooters, guys who can on occasion, but you look at some of these teams, it's like, they can put a couple of guys. I think the teams that really have the best shot spectrum numbers have two things. One, you just mentioned. They have guys that are really like, man, you gotta be there on the catch, or they're gonna bury a three on you. And the other thing they have is a lot of dribble penetration guys. That's what expands and collapses defenses, I think. Yeah.
What's been the biggest difference between that road trip and the past two games? What's been the biggest takeaway that's on the positive side?
The results?
Well,
I know. I'm just
What
kidding.
got you there?
I think that, listen, again, I would say pretty happy with the mental stability of the team, right? Because, we played pretty good in Denver, right? To not get anything out of it. We played really great in both LA games and portions of it to come out of those all empty. And that can wear on you a bit. I think the Denver, the way it ended up, shook down, the aftermath of all that, that can put you in some mentally fragile spot a little bit. I think that you say you go out there and you play great, you kill yourself, you totally outplay them, you do all this and that, and then somehow the game gets ripped away from you. Can mess with you a little bit. So I'm proud that we've come back and continued to play. I think we've played even better since that road trip. And that wasn't an easy road trip. Those teams are good. They're hot for the most part. Denver's number one. Clippers are hot, 3 or 4 in a row now. LA was, and they each had 2 days before they played us. All 3 of those games. Denver had 2-day rest. Clippers had 2 days rest. That stuff all factors into it. So I'm glad we just kind of play the games, move on, play the next one, and got a couple good results. Back to the starting point of my answer.
When it comes to Christian, correct me if I'm wrong, early in the season, going back to pre-season, summer league, is there an emphasis on getting to try and block as many shots as possible to develop that timing on shot block?
Yeah, he was, I think, the leading or first or second shot blocker in the country last year, so we knew he had that capability. You've heard me say this a bunch of times. We want him to take a bunch of swings at him, right? Don't be shy on trying to shot block attempts. Need to be high. I know it sometimes gives up some offensive putbacks and some other things, but we want him swinging at him as much as he can.
Was he more vertical last night?
He did a couple verticals.
Like it turns out he's being less aggressive, more just like being.
Well, he came in and he checked in about 15 seconds, blocked a shot. So that was a good aggressive start. But he had a couple times. I think he read him pretty well. He obviously took the crack in the nose on the one he was vertical on. I think they called a foul on him though. Yeah.
Is the thought with
No
that,
review. It's our second broken nose with no review this year.
Is the thought with the block as many shots as possible? Is it similar to Scotty last year with shoot as much as possible? It's easier to rein them in after they've got that aggressive mindset than to say.
Yeah, I think that especially defensively, we're going to err on the side of over aggressive on just about everything.
Just a quick one on Gary. A lot of talk about the bench and blah, 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 blah. How much better is the bench when he's scoring, when he's making shots?
Yeah, obviously it's a big factor. It's a big factor. We saw it show up. And listen, again, it's like, and this is another thing, go back to your question again about like Gary was like under the weather the whole road trip, right? And he just wanted to play, and you know, it's just kind of, again, like we've had a little bit of those funky things going on, and these guys are trying to play through them, and I give them credit because I think they should try to play through them sometimes, right? You can't always feel great, and you got to go out there and try and figure it out, and obviously he's feeling better, as last night showed.
With we've talked about how with Yak rolling, that opens up some three-point shots for you guys. What is the trickle-down effect when Fred and OG are shooting the ball as well as they are?
Well, that three-man combo you just mentioned gives you, they got to be up on the pick and roll because Fred's coming off for a three ball, right? If they're up, that should give us some chance to get down. If they pull in, that gives us the next one. So like all three pieces of those things come into play, and without the roll, none of them do, right? Like without the rolling threat, it's just up on the ball, stay home on the weak side. So it takes like all of it out. So it's pretty big.
And that opens up as well for Pascal to attack the middle as well?
Well, it lets him, it just gives us some different looks and options. I mean, he's played a bunch of pick and roll last night too, and they've got to decide what they are going to do. Usually they're going to try to switch with him and Yaka, right? Or try to go under with Pascal. And, you know, it's still, even going under is not, just because you're not really like a super high three-point threat, going under is not a great defense. Sometimes if you can exploit that, you can keep lowering screens, you can race it to the other side, other things. So I think it gives us a little bit of variety there.
What's the next step of development for Yak?
Well,
Refining.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think that he could probably have a few more shot attempts, right? I think we could probably go into him a little more often, a little bit. You know, we don't really run many sets for him. Probably could start sprinkling some of those in. And I think I might have said this yesterday, but it's worth saying again. It's like when teams start switching and end up with a small on him, he's got to start making those guys pay. He is on offensive rebounding, but he's just got to go down there and get big and start sealing a little bit, which I think that'd be a pretty nice step forward or addition to the offense.
Nick, you mentioned Scotty's non-rim paint.
One more. It's all right.
Scotty's non-rim paint twos. Have you seen a progression in that area?
He takes a lot of non-rim paint twos, but I like that he's doing them in an athletic fashion now. He's really gathering, getting up, getting clearance. You know, when he's making an early decision to shoot them, he's getting to an open space. He's really he's really got good clearance when he's shooting them. Those I'm okay with because he's getting to a good. He's just doing it confidently and with some aggressiveness, and that just sure beats like, should I be doing this or not any day of the week, right? So that's good, but I still like, he's got to, and this is about the time of the year where he needs to still use his physicality and take people all the way to the front of the rim and knock them around and lay it in and dunk on them. That's where he played really great last year at this time with that. He just kept getting more physical and physical as we went down the stretch here. So we're looking for a little more of that too.
It's nice to see it translate onto the floor a little bit.
For sure. Just continue to go out there and play. Continue to play my game. Again, whatever's going to happen. So.
Nick was saying when you were in LA that whole trip you weren't feeling your best, but you kind of decided to play through it. What were you thinking in terms of just being willing to do that this time of year?
For sure. Again, like I said, at this point in the time of the year, we have nothing to worry about. You got to be all in, no matter what. Sick, not sick, got to get a win. So no excuse for nothing that's going on. Got to continue to go out there and show improve and get wins.
What you can bring to an offense, especially in the half court with your shooting, like how much responsibility do you feel given the way this team is structured and kind of where your strengths lie?
Really just, trying to get in any opportunity I can, to help. Or if I get open look, knock it down or try to create for myself or somebody else. But just trying to play the flow of the game and, trying to figure it out. Coming into the game, subbing in. It's already kind of got a motion or a feel to it, so just trying to fill it out and, go out there and play.
It's not like I would go down this roster and like you're maybe the guy most likely to be spotting up for threes at a high volume, or getting the three-point shots at a high volume. And, it's needed what you do. So do you kind of go into games, man, I got to bring it? Like, is it put that little bit of extra pressure on you?
Every game I try to bring it, no matter start of the game, 1 minute left in the game, no matter what, you're going out there, everybody's watching. They're going to evaluate you no matter what you're doing, even if you're on the bench clapping, so they're watching everything. So you're going to go out there and just play hard.
You and Will were at the front of that zone in the second quarter with Christian, Pascal, and Chris back there. I mean, it's sort of a luck you've gone to and away from. How much does it change things for you defensively and in terms of your aggressiveness, and how does it feel to have those arms behind you, I guess?
Yeah, it can help. Exactly. When you got Koloko and you got Yak back there, it can help as well too. But I would say it just gives you more of you can take a little more gambles, but still have more help. Again, we still have to be in tandem with one another, still figuring out the chemistry. Will's obviously still learning our defensive schemes. It's pretty high schedule. We do a lot of different things and switch it by the minute. So really just on the fly and continue to learn, continue to keep going.
Is rebounding the biggest sort of concern with zone in general? Because obviously you're not just responsible for one man. So
For sure.
Does it change what you're doing there?
Yeah, you can switch to different things. Obviously, it depends on their lineup on the floor. If they don't have non-shooters, we'll probably go to a zone. Or if they have one shooter, try to go to a zone as much as we can to try to get boards and take shots. Again, it also helps us, like you said, in a rebounding position because all 5 guys are already inside the three-point line. So it kind of helps us, stay in tandem, but kind of play a help D, but man, but a zone. So it kind of throws guys off.
You talked about chemistry there for a second. I mean, you spend the whole year, or most of the year, playing with the same 4 guys for the most part.
For sure.
And now, sort of 3/4 of the way through the season, a bit of a flip. The adjustment period there in learning or getting more accustomed to those guys, do they have to learn you or do you have to learn them?
I would say it's a two-way street. Out of everybody on the team, I feel like this year I played with the most different lineups of just starting and then not starting and then playing with a bench group and then playing with the bench group. So really just going out there to play. We play and practice together every day.
Yep.
And obviously if you're a good basketball player, it's going to show no matter who you're playing with. So you got to go out there and just try to play your game and gel with everybody you can and make sure everybody stays happy and everybody's free flowing and everybody can go out there and just play their game.
And then obviously the addition of Will, that's another wrinkle into the thing.
For sure.
Do you feel the chemistry's coming with him? Like, is he? Can you play off him and him play off you?
Most definitely. Will's resume speaks for itself. He is who he is. He's a tremendous pro. He's been a pro for a long, long time now. He can come in and help in tremendous ways, whether it's knowledge, whether it's scoring the basketball, whether it's defense, everything. So, again, us continue to keep building. He's already getting more and more comfortable, being here just in a week. So we're going to continue to keep going, continue to keep building, man, and try to make this push.
Fred was saying the other day that because you guys watch OG do what he does on the defensive end on a nightly basis, it's almost easy to take it for granted just how many things he can do and how special he is.
Man.
As a scorer who goes up against these tough guards, what impresses you most about the way?
I would say the thing that's special, honestly, is this his ability to guard different positions. Now the guys can guard Jokic and then guard De'Aaron Fox and then guard, a lot of guys can't do that. So that separates himself right there. And then when you add his offensive ability and his ability to score and, stuff like that, tremendous talent. He is who he is, and he's going to continue to get better. He's going to continue to grow. He's going to continue to show improve and continue to show everybody, what he's capable of and what he can do.
Gary, I asked Coach what's the biggest takeaway from the road trip into the last 2 games that you guys have won, and he said mentality. Is there anybody in particular that stands out in your mind that has been able to kind of steady the ship and not let the road trip losses affect the homestand so far?
I would say everybody, has their moments. We all human. Everybody get down. Everybody be sad. Everybody be happy days. But I would say a guy that, brings it in every day, continue to work no matter what. Chris Boucher, he's going to come in, work. Flynn is going to work. Jeff is going to work. Joe is going to work. Everybody coming in and trying to work, But those are a few guys that I see, no matter what, playing, not playing, they're going to weather the storm and continue to, be professionals.
The way that Denver game kind of got screwed up at the end and taken away from you guys a little bit, how much did that play into the way that road trip ended for you? Like, was there a carryover there?
No, I wouldn't really say a carryover. After the game ends, jump ball, it's over. It's a whole new day. It's a whole new game. So I wouldn't really say it was a carry on. Road trip was a road trip, and now we at home, and now we're gonna win and go on the road here soon again and try to get it done.
When it comes to you being a ball handler and pick and roll action, it's been increasing over the past little while. How did that open up your offense?
can open up a variety of ways. We're able to play make, we're able to shoot, able to score. You know, just getting those reps in game and being able to practice it and go through those motions could let you know, okay, maybe I can get a shot here, or maybe I can set my teammate up there. You know, so it's just keep doing it, keep working. You know, obviously get better, work on it here. So when it comes to the game as well, I'm ready.
What's the difficulties in being able to pass out of those actions? Is this something that you're realizing that maybe you didn't know before? When it comes to that, because you know your step back and you can probably get that off at all times, but there could be like a rolling bid, for instance, under the rim, and you can find out what's something that you're realizing about that.
Most definitely, it just depends on who we're playing, what team. Obviously, different guys have different rotations. Some guys may pull over, help, and stay in the middle and wait till the big men to get 3 seconds because refs don't call it. So no matter what, they're just going to keep their big men there. Or some guys, they might clear out the corner, so the corner guy might be open. So it's just different reads and different schemes. And, you know, the same teams usually run the same defenses, you know, for years to come, just like their offense as well, too, unless they change dramatically. But for the most part, everybody has the base of the same thing. It's just different names for plays.